guys, this is Michelle Kane with Michelle Kane Actions, and on this video tutorial we're going to be working on a studio image. And this photo comes to us from Linda Gentry Photography, so thank you so much to Linda for letting me use this photo today. And we're looking for something a little edgier, a little something more interesting than just a straight studio sort of looking photograph. And the actions that we're going to be using for this one come from the Botanical Blends and the Creative Heart collections. And you can learn more about those actions on my website, michellecanephotography.com. So the first thing in heading in the edgier, funkier direction with this picture is I wanted to tone it, meaning I wanted to give it some different coloring and some haze. And here's our straight out of camera, and here's one of the directions that we're heading. This is a final edit with all of these actions you see in the layers palette here turned on, and we're going to show you some different variations of how, but just by turning on and off some of these layers and adjusting opacities, you can completely change the look. This is just one, like I said, look that we can get going in sort of this direction here. So going back to the beginning, I'm going to first start with 3 tones from the Botanical Blend set, and then I'm going to group them together so that I can adjust all of those 3 tones together at one time as far as the opacity is concerned. So the first action I started with was Rhubarb. And starting with Rhubarb, let's turn this on and off again. Rhubarb is one that I really love because it kind of puts this red edging around the sides, so it sort of vignettes it with like this really cool retro redness on the edges. And I played this action here at 31% opacity, so you can adjust that again to your liking, but this one I just kept at 31%, and I left all of the inside layers of Rhubarb as they play. I didn't change those up. The next thing I did was play the action called Thyme, and this one has kind of a blue and a yellow toning to it. And on this action, I played it at 26% opacity. So let's just amp this percentage up so you can kind of get an idea of what this would look like at different percentages of opacity. And again, I'm going to go back to the 26%. So Thyme, it gave me sort of that bluish feeling to the outsides of the picture, or the background of the picture that I was looking for. The next action that I played is Caraway, and this one I wanted to brighten things up just a little bit, and this one I changed up a little bit. I played the entire group at 41%, but with Caraway there's 3 layers inside of there, so if I open that up, I only wanted the Caraway haze on. Here's with the sweetness on, and here's with the desaturation on. You probably don't see a change there, but if you adjust the opacity of the desaturation layer, you would definitely see effects there. But again, I wanted just the haze on. So this kind of goes to show that you really should open up these actions, especially in the Botanical Blends tones, and see what happens when you turn the layer visibilities on and off. You can completely change the overall effect of each action in a million different directions just by the way you have layers on or off, or the opacities that they're set at. So Caraway again, just with the Caraway haze on. So once I did that, I selected all 3 just by shift clicking, and then I grouped them together. So if in the layers palette you click your little drop down, you can say new group, and that's exactly what I did in order to group them together. So now I can turn this entire grouping on and off, and I've got my tones turning on and off in tandem. So you could name this tones if you wanted to over here in the layers palette. So the next thing I wanted to do is give almost like an ultra clarity or really deep clarity to his face, because he has these really great freckles and gorgeous eyes, and he's just got such a very interesting, cool look to him, and I really wanted to pull that out. Right now everything's very soft, and I want more clarity. I want those freckles to pop out at me. So I ran an action called Deep Clarity, and this is in the Botanical Blend set as well. So as I click that on and off, you can see how it's really pulled out some serious sharpness in the eyes and in the freckles, and it's just made it pop. And the way I did this is play the deep clarity, and then I played the whole action at 78%. I ended up dropping that opacity down, but using the layer mask here, I just painted the clarity where I wanted it. So if we take a look at that mask, you can see where it's clear here is where I've painted the effect on. So we really brought out the eyes and again those freckles. Now I wanted some punch to the picture, a little bit more depth, so right now it looks kind of like the brightness came back into the photo, but remember Linda photographed this with much more drama to the lighting, so I wanted to bring some of that back and some of that rich softness back. So an action from the Creative Heart set that I played was Posh, and right there as we turn this on and off, you can see it really gives like that nice darkness. We still have all the toning. Let's go back and turn those tones on and off. There's Posh and deep clarity by themselves, and boy, that's dark. But you get those brightening tones in there that add all the haze, and it completely changes things. So Posh was played at 53% opacity, and I did not change any of the layers inside of Posh. I just left them exactly like they were. The next thing I want to do is, again, I got that richness back in there, but I still want the haziness. So Angelica is what we played next, and that is from the Botanical blends as well, another tone. And as I turn that on, I've got it set to 61% opacity. Now, Angelica, I didn't change any of the layers inside. There's just 2 layers inside there. You could definitely play with the opacity of this if it's too hazy for you. You could pull that opacity down, but I left it just as is, and remember we can always go back and change these as the edit kind of goes forward. The next thing is I wanted just a little bit more fine-tuned clarity, so I played Shallow Clarity, and Shallow Clarity again is from the Botanical blend set, and this one, as you can see from the layer mask, I just painted again just on the face, so I wanted the eyes, the teeth, the freckles, that kind of stuff to pop through. So if we look at the layer mask here, you can see where it's clear, that's where it's been painted on. And the Shallow Clarity is at 40% opacity here, and again this just gives us just a slight little boost in the sharpness. And you may not even see that reflected in the video as I push it on and off, but it definitely is just a little ounce of extra sharpness that the photo needed. Now, if I were to have sharpened all the way around the picture, that kind of detracts from what I really want to speak. And what I want to speak is the eyes and the face and just this look that he has. And everything else around him, his clothes in the background, can stay soft and kind of push back into the background. So we, again, are just focusing on his face and his expression. So I like this edit just like it is right here. Let's go back down to the original and then go back to the edit that we have so far. It's different, it's editorial, it's not so predictable as far as studio images are concerned, but we're going to take it a couple steps further, and I played Mocha, and this is a tone from the Creative Heart set. Now, the Creative Heart, just as an aside note, the Creative Heart set has tones in it, and they tend, in most cases, to be more colorful. Like they color the picture rather than adding in haze and color. And the Botanical blends tones are going to add in color tones, but they definitely have more of a haze, matte sort of feel to them. So again, Mocha, this is in the Creative Heart. This is, like you would think, Mocha, kind of a brownish sort of tint. And I played this at 21% opacity. Let's just amp that up so you can really start to see how it changes the picture just as the opacity changes. I'm going to take that back to 21. And Juniper, this one is a Botanical blend action, and this is a bluish kind of color. So let's turn that one on, and this one is only played at 16% opacity. So Juniper gives this blue kind of tone. Here's at 78%, and it's definitely got that haze factor going on. I mean, you could do some really funky stuff if you wanted, oh man, just a variety of different looks. Play with these opacities. So we're going to bring this one back down to the 16%. So let's turn off Juniper and Mocha again. That's where we were before. Let's turn off Posh. It gets really bright. Let's turn off maybe Angelica. and we'll turn on Juniper. And you can just see how all of these tones work independently of one another and don't interfere with each other. So you can come back to them if you play them like I do, one on top of the other. Keep coming back and adjusting to find out what you like. Maybe let's get rid of those first set of tones and just go with Angelica and Juniper. Or get rid of Juniper and go with Angelica and amp that up really high. Something like this. Now you don't have that blue tone in there. As you can see, you know, you could play and adjust and come up with so many different options for the way you finish out your pictures. So I'm going to take it back to the original here. And let's just go with Juniper. I want to turn this up just a little bit for our final. Mocha, I want to go up just a little bit. And then that really brightening one, Angelica, I'm going to take that down just a little. And I'll go back to Mocha and pull that down, or Juniper and pull that down just a little bit. So that might be my overall finished product that I love. Again, I just want to show you these clarities. If we turn those clarities off, you can see how soft his face is here. It completely loses the punch in my mind. So again, those deep clarities and shallow clarity, just where you want them, I think really help to punch him out of the picture and make him the focus. I hope that sheds some light on kind of how the toning actions work. Again, we use the Creative Heart tones and Posh from Creative Heart, and I also use the Botanical blends. Get in there and experiment and play and turn those opacities on and off, turn layers on and off, adjust them. Dig into these actions because you're going to find that there's so many different options and possibilities, and you can make your pictures one of a kind and all your own. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want more information on any of the actions you've seen here, please visit my website at michellekanephotography.com. Have a great day, everyone.